Good evening, folks. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the drivers into the lobby and the stream sent out so that all of you lovely, lovely people can watch along live if you so wish. It's round number 5 of Tier 1, Season 11 here at APPF1. Do not go anywhere. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 1 for tonight's dose of racing action. My name is Sumo, and I shall be your commentator this evening, bringing you all of the on-track action in the only way I know how, with as much excitement and enthusiasm as I can muster. It's round number 5 then of the Tier 1 Season 11, and as we reach the halfway point, we get ourselves ready for a race at Miami. 5.412 kilometers and 19 corners see us on a lap around the Hard Rock Stadium and the fake marina. This circuit has had a poor reputation amongst many of the fans and has been causing some grumblings among tonight's drivers as well. A couple of long straights, twisty corners and ever-present walls make this a tricky circuit for the drivers to navigate this evening, and out go the two Red Bulls, one after the other. The only other driver out on track is RJ Blair, the American driver, recent winner at Singapore over in Tier 2 as well. Let's take you on a run through the standings then, as we go into this round number 5. Of course, we are now halfway through the season once this race is over. Lifeboat then on 82 points, just 11 points ahead of his rival Finley in the McLaren, who is going to be chasing him tonight for sure, although he said he's been struggling with this track. 88 Chris, 52 points, a fairly big gap behind, a 19-point gap between himself and Finley there, between himself and his teammate there, sorry, as we go into this round as well. Maybe even between Finley, I can't count, I can't maths, 19, yeah, I'm right. And then, 30-point gap to Lifeboat up ahead as well. Then 5 points behind is Ghost in the Alfa Romeo with MX on 43 points, tied with Rick in P6. Then there's Red Flame Joe on 42 points, just a point behind the Dutchman. Then we have Scorenzi on 33, a point behind him is the Scotsman Jackalacco in the other Ferrari. Lawrence rounds off the top 10 with 19 points. Then there's MCL, the reserve driver, with 17. Speed Alcoholic, a point behind him. Then there's Yara in P13. Then we have RJ Blair, Mania, Lupper, Vax, Tier, Tink, Chat Zipa, and Leon as well. None of these drivers yet to score points in those last 3 there, with some DNFs on the board and no shows as well. Then we'll take a little look over the constructor standings going into this round this evening. Red Bull lead the way on 134 points, just 20 points behind them are McLaren in P2. Then we have Alfa Romeo on 89 points behind the McLaren outfit. Then there's Ferrari on 75 points. Then we have the Aston Martin team on 42. 35 points for the AlphaTauri Honda RBPT. Then the Mercedes AMG team on 17 points, with Williams on 16. 11 for the Alpine team, and Haas on 4 points as well. So into the qualifying session we go. RJ almost finished with his lap, car number 29. 2 more corners to navigate, a tricky traction zone coming up here. Actually 3 more corners as we go through here, but gets it down, gets the power down through there fairly well, crosses the line with a 129.0. Not a terrible time, but there's definitely more time in it. Red Flame Joe about to start a lap. The 2 McLarens out on the circuit as well. I think the Red Bulls are going to be next to set laps. Where's Lifeboat? There he is. The Dutchman, purple to sector 2. We've got a few newbies out there on the track as well. We have what I'm calling Barry, well, Paul and Barry. That'll be Chuck as Paul, Chuckle as Barry. As they are, of course, the Chuckle Brothers there. They're not the actual real Chuckle Brothers, as one half of the real Chuckle Brothers has sadly passed away, as Rick sets the fastest time at 27.6. A hell of a lot faster than RJ's time there. Then a 26.8 from Lifeboat, the qualifying merchant. Gets himself onto that top step. Swee Ross comes across the line, puts himself P3 there. In the other Ferrari, the time's coming in thick and fast. The next driver to come across the line is Scorenzi. He's going to be starting a lap just now, so we're looking for ETA. Chris, who's been having issues with his brake pedal, and has, I think, as far as I'm aware, maybe switched over to his clutch pedal this evening, so keep an eye on him. How about the Chuckle Brothers? How are they getting on? Here comes Barry across the line, puts himself at 28.2 into P4. Not a bad lap from Barry Chuckle there, coming across the line. RJ Hill be coming into the pits. Red Flame Joe, he's about to finish his lap as well. Leader of the elite tier at the moment. And here goes into the 1 minute 27.7s as well. Everybody a long way away from Lifebound MX, by the way. A 26.8 as Finley goes on to pole position now. A 26.5 from Finley. 3 tenths faster than Lifebound. That's a great lap time from him. MCL is here then. Tier 2 driver. What can he do here in Tier 1? He's on an out lap. Let's follow along with the Spanish driver for a lap of this circuit then. Braking deep in towards that first corner, very deep for MCL, rides the curb there. This is a very sloppy first few corners from the Spanish driver. Now through this twisty sector 1, here we go, or as fast as you can through these corners, but going down the gears on the curbs there as well. It's a sloppy lap as we go through these first few corners. Long left-hander, be patient, loses the rear end, just about keeps it going. Does MCL in the AlphaTauri. It's not going to be a great lap for him, but let's see as he continues on. Opens up the DRS for the first time on the lap, coming all the way down to turn, I want to say that's turn 11. I'm pretty sure, braking deep, and it's another long right-hander, clumsy, patient, and then through here, a couple quick sharps, changes down into second gear, rides over the curb. They're very sloppy, and it can really do with tidying that up. Eventually out of the chicane there, that fiddly little section, and down this long straight, opening up that DRS for the second time, down all the way to the final 3 corners. This will be turn 17 into, braking around that 100-meter board there. Little lock up, be careful on the exit, easy to get wheel spin through here. You've got to be patient with this corner around the final couple of turns here as well. MCR 1 minute 29.8 sees him the last place of the drivers who have set laps thus far, but that is a lap around the Miami circuit. Not my favourite track, if I'm being brutally honest. I do not enjoy it at all. I think there are a lot of sections that need, well, there's at least one section that needs some attention, and I'm referring to that part that goes underneath the highway on this track. But here's Ghost in the number 72 machine. What can he do in his Alfa Romeo? And the final few turns, has he got a lap to challenge the likes of the drivers toward the top? Not really. A 27.4 though. I say not really. A 1 minute 27.4 puts him in P3. Only 0.08 of a second ahead of MX. It's going to be very close, I think, between that top 7 there, or at least P3 to P7. And then it might be Lifebound and Finley trading fastest laps throughout the session. Let's see who else is out. Is Lupper or ET8 Chris? They're both on out laps, so neither of them going around. RJ looking to improve on his recent effort. Let's follow along with the Aston Martin and see what he can get himself. Good evening to everybody watching along as well. Do feel free to get involved in the live chat. Come and say hello. And it does help to have some extra presence in the comms box, especially when I'm on my lonesome, like right now. But well, we've had all of the livery reveals now, thankfully. Not gonna lie, the last 4 were absolute bangers. I mean, Aston Martin and Red Bull, we all saw those coming, but God, that Ferrari and that Mercedes, love them. What do you guys think? Hello, Palang in the chat. It's been a little while. How are you keeping, my friend? Hopefully well. What did you think of the liveries this season? Well, of the liveries over this 2 weeks of launches as we go. Drive to Survive not far away either. I'm apprehensive, but it should be interesting. Hello, Ellie in the chat as well. How are you doing? I hope you're keeping well. RJ Blair improving his lap time perhaps. 1 minute 28.7. I don't know if he improved. I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy saying hello to everybody in the chat. Awful commentator. Bad Sumo. Bad. Did he improve? He did improve his lap time by a few tenths of a second. Got himself up into P12. And there we go. Let's see who is next to come across the line. There's a lot of drivers on out laps. Leon's about to start a lap here. Let's see. There's Barry Chuckle back out on the circuit. Paul Chuckle there as well on a lap 2 by the looks of things. think Lupa Korvax, he's invalidated his lap time, so no good there. Let's ride on board with no Barry Chuckles on an out lap. There's the McLarens. There's also a Ferrari. It's so bigger. I mean, we've got a big grid, and I shouldn't complain about it. Love a big grid. As Sri Ross has invalidated his time on this attempt. So I think ET8 Chris, no, he's invalidated again. He's not having a good time out there, ET8 Chris. He really needs to try and set a lap if he can, but he is having those issues with his equipment, and that could see him out of the race before it even really begins. That would be a huge shame for him if that happens. Here's Red Flame Joe then coming down towards turn 17 now. He'll be the next driver to set a lap. Leon has retired from the session. He's crashed at that long right-hander in sector 2 there. Not the hardest place to make a crash, and Red Flame Joe, little bit of a rear end slide on the exit of the last corner, and that's seen his lap ruined. And see, there's a Mercedes about to cross the line. There's Patterson, he's starting a lap. There's an Alpha Tauri, it's the other one of Speed Alcoholic now up into P3. Not a bad attempt there. JBS Steve, or Mania as he's now called, into the pit lane as well. How about the Chuckle Brothers? How are they getting on? Paul's just started his lap. Barry Chuckle, meanwhile, coming out of the chicane here, down the main straight. Little bit shaky on there. He's definitely on a lap, so that's going to cost him a couple of attempts, I think, coming down here. You've got to get a good exit out of that corner because it's a long, long way down to turn 17 from the exit of 16. All on the brakes for the Haas. Slows the car down nice and wide. No shakiness on the exit, but abandons the lap. Must have ruined it with a poor exit there. ET8 Chris, where is he? There he is, coming down this long, long back straight now. Is this his first lap of the session? Let's see. Coming around the final 3 corners. Will he peel in? No, he's going to continue the lap. He's going to finish it off. Where's he going to place him? A 28.6. He's got a lap on the board, but that's not the usual ET8 Chris we've seen. So perhaps definitely is taking that slight penalty from the damage to his equipment. Meanwhile, 9/10 improvement was Scorenzi. Sees the Aston Martin propel himself into P3. How about the 2 McLarens? MX doesn't improve his lap time. Finley into the pits as well. Looks like Paul Chuckles coming across the line to set his next lap. Goes ahead of his brother there, of Barry Chuckle. There's P10 and P11. It's so confusing calling them that. I'm not going to lie. As we keep going, but I'm going to stick to the bit. I said I would do it, and I'm doing it. So there you go. I hope they have themselves a chuckle when they come and watch this stream later, if they indeed do. At my usage of the real life names of the Chuckle Brothers. Here we go then. Ghost, 4 attempts up on his previous attempt. He's purple to the middle sector. Not necessarily the fastest, but the fastest man through that middle sector off the track. 4 attempts of improvement. We'll see him at least into the 26.8. So if he can find anything else, this could be provisional pole for the British driver. Has many, many titles in APPF1 to his name. Can he get another pole position to his name? No. A 27.0. Lost a little bit of time in that final sector, and there's only a few tenths off of Lifebout's time there as well. Not too far ahead, not too far behind, sorry. The leaders there, goes ahead of Scorenzi by only a few thousandths of a second. 8 thousandths of a second ahead he is. Let's see, where are those McLarens? MX invalidated his previous attempt. That's Paul Chuckle, but he's not on a lap, he's invalidated. ET8 Chris there as well. MCL, let's see what the Spanish driver's got beneath him. Round the final corner, drives a Haas, of course, in Tier 2. Here he's driving in the Alpha Tauri as a reserve driver. Comes across the line, 28.1. Not a bad lap from MCL. Anybody else? Lupa Korvax, recently taken to no line in Tier 2. He's come along to take up a reserve seat in Tier 1. As we go along, exits the final corner, a little bit shaky, a little bit tentative on the throttle, comes across the line. No, this looks like a somewhat okay lap. 28.1 sees him just split the 2 Haas cars of the Chuckle Brothers. Not a bad lap time from Lupa Korvax, the Finnish driver. RJ back on track, wants to make a statement of being the first driver to set a lap in each stint, and will be, as MCO and Lupper have both finished their lap. So this will be the final lap for RJ Blair. Let's hope it's a good one. Go Scorenzi, says Ellie in the chat. He is doing well up in P4. Has he got anything else to give? He's coming out onto the track now, so keep an eye on him as we go around. I'll try and do my very, very best to catch everybody in this final round of qualifying laps around this circuit. What is everyone's thoughts as RJ loses the car? Just coming through that long right-hander. So easy to do. That's going to be his lap on this occasion in the bin. I'm sure he's got time, though, to back off, recharge that battery, and go again. So we'll see what he's got underneath him on his next attempt around this. Although it would have definitely taken a little bit out of his tyres. That little moment there. Lupper and MCO got to be quick to get themselves in and out. Although MCO, no, he's in the pits now, so let's see. But the track is getting busier and busier. You can see all the cars all filing their way out onto the circuit. Let us see then. RJ's still going to be our lead driver, so we'll keep an eye on him. Everybody else out on an out lap as well. Is Sweet Ross on a hot lap? He is actually. So let's follow along with the Ferrari of Sweet Ross as he's making his way around. Not here is Jack Alaco this week, so the reserve driver of Sweet in the Ferrari taking up the space. There's 19 drivers on the grid, everybody. Here at Miami, this is going to be chaos in the race. Well, hopefully not too much, but enough to give me some good talking points at a circuit where it can be difficult to overtake, can be bogged down by safety cars as well. Let's see, Sweet Ross around that tricky, that clumsy chicane there. Just gets the car over those corners, nice and close to the wall on the exit as well. Look at all the traffic in his wake, though. Coming through, he goes. He's got to clear all of that. He'll get a little bit of slipstream from some of the cars, but they're all getting out of the way. They've got plenty of time. Chuckle Brothers want to get out of the way as well. And the Haas cars, but Sweet might feel he's been blocked there by the Haas. He slows down. That could be a visit to the steward's room for the debutant in the Haas car. Sweet Ross's lap is ruined by the Haas ahead of him, who didn't get out of the way when he most definitely should have. Let's see who is going to be the next. I think we're going to go back to RJ, who's making his way through into sector 3 now. As we go along, let's see the RJ 0.5 of a second up. This is decent. It's looking to see him perhaps in towards the lower reaches, or just outside of the top 10 if he can find any more pace. 0.5 would see him at a 1:28.2 right now. Let's see what the American can do. The man from Philadelphia, of course. Definitely not a supporter of the Miami Dolphins. Firmly an Eagles fan, I'm assured. But crosses the line. P9 for the American driver. Not a bad lap. How about Mania in the Alpine? Another Tier 2 driver. Only good enough for P15 for him. Let's see. ETA Chris, no, it's Lifebout next. Here we go. One of the drivers set up for pole. He's a 10th up on his previous best. Where can the Dutch driver place himself? Is it good enough for pole position on his final run around the track? It's not. It's very, very close, though. Only a few hundredths of a second in it. Speed Alcoholic crosses the line. Improves. Doesn't get up. Ghost. No, Scorenzi instead improves his lap time. 26.6 from the other Aston Martin driver. The two Chuckle brothers. Paul Chuckle into P9. Then his brother Barry goes into P8 as well, knocking him down. Yaron puts a good lap in for P9 as well. Where is Ghost on the circuit? He's coming down the main straight now to two McLarens, though. Finley invalidated his lap time. How about MX crosses the line up to P5 he goes. Let's see who else is out there. S. Patterson. Is he going to be able to set a decent lap time? Comes across the line now. Looks like it's going to be a 1:28.5. How about Ghost? No, into the pit lane for Ghost. He is over, and that is it. That is your qualifying session. It came thick and fast towards the end there, but it is Finley P1 by 0.08 of a second. Hasn't needed to improve on his time at all. That time is all the way from earlier in the session. And that is it. No improvement from him. Lifebout unable to match him, but he'll start along in the front row as well. Everybody else gave it a good show, and it got closer and closer towards the end there. Look how close it is from Ghost all the way down. Let's see Ghost, MX, Red Flame, Speed, and maybe even Rick. Probably about 0.4 between them. Very close. There we are then, Finley 2006 on the front row of the grid, just 8 thousandths of a second ahead of Lifebout in the Red Bull, his championship rival there. These two going to be fighting tooth and nail for this race win this evening. Then Scorenzi, a very good P3, who's going to make up one half of the second row alongside Ghost. And it's MX rounding off the top 5. Then we have Red Flame Joe, Speed Alcoholic Rick, Barry Chuckle and Yaron making up the top 10. Then there's Paul Chuckle, RJ Blair, Swee Ross, MCL, Lapis, Mania, Patterson, Leon and ET8 Chris all the way down in P19, suffering with his hardware issues, which could see one Red Bull knocked out of the race prematurely as he looks to as he seems to be struggling at the very moment. Just taking a look, see if there's been any updates in the chat there. Let's see what's happened. ET8 Chris is on controller. He didn't go for the clutch. He's moved over to controller. That will explain the lack of pace out there as well. Let's see, anyone else? Yarn, fresh from a nap. Put a decent lap in qualifying though. Got in just in time. Leon crashed in his qualifying session. That is a huge shame. We saw that. He crashed in Sector 2 at that long right-hander. ET8 Chris struggling on controller. I'm not surprised around this sort of circuit. Oh, dear. Oh, apparently there's a mistake in the start time. It was apparently on random rather than on realistic. So the sun was blinding everybody by the looks of things. Probably into that last corner. That's where it's happened as well. That's all on Rick there. Naughty Rick. Yeah, very difficult. Traffic was mad, says Swee Ross as well. We did see him get very much impeded during qualifying, and that could be a time penalty for one of those Haas cars there. I don't remember exactly which one it was. But let's see then, first race this week in Miami for APPF1. Let's take a look at the strategies as we go in ahead. So the big talking point here, a split strategy between Finley and Lifebout. Mediums for Finley are Poleman and hards for Lifebout there as well. Then it's hard for the majority of the grid. MX on the medium tyres, however, and then from all the way down to Yarum, who's starting on the soft tyres. An interesting strategy. That'll be one to keep an eye on from that Mercedes. Then both the Chuckle brothers on the hard tyres. Then you've got RJ Blair on the mediums. Then there's Swee Ross and MCL on the hards. Lapis on the mediums. Mania 93 on the hards. And there's Patterson on the mediums as well. With Leon and ET8 Chris on the hard strategy there as well. The game is saying it's going to be medium hard, hard medium, or soft medium, medium for the strategy. I'd imagine that's fairly accurate. The tyre wear can be quite grueling around here. We have a lot of those traction zones and those harsh wear, well, heavy load corners. That's the word I was looking for through there as well. There's a lot of high speed turns around this track, high speed S's as well. 29 laps then of the Miami Grand Prix, the Hard Rock Stadium circuit. Then, and it's Finley and Lifebout lining up on the front row. Who is going to come out on top in this rivalry between them? This could be a good chance actually for the McLaren team, as MX it's a little bit squirrely on the exit of the last corner, or the last three corners there. A good opportunity for McLaren to claw some points back in the constructors, with ET8 Chris being where he is on controller in P19, struggling with hardware issues, which unfortunately affects us all in league racing in one way or another. It comes for us all. Ghost will know much about that. Remember back to Austria Tier 1 Ghost? That title that should have been. I know he's probably watching after the fact. He'll probably message me or something. He knows. But if you know, you know. Right then, let's see. Awful camera angles plaguing us once again. Let's ride on board with Ghost as we go. 5 red lights for the Miami Grand Prix. We are underway and racing. Looks like a great start though from Lifeboat, who's drawing alongside. Finley already has pulled ahead to the inside. It looks like Scarenzi's going to go for the move as well. The Aston Martin going to try and dart around the outside of the McLaren, who's got an awful start as they go, but they're still side by side as they go through. It looks fairly clean throughout the rest of the grid as well. No yellow flags, no dramas for the time being, but Lifeboat with a great start. Finley has lost out to Scarenzi and he's battling with him through this twisty S section now as well. The long left-hander we go. Ghost trying to get a move up as well. He's going to draw alongside Finley as well. He's had an awful start from the line as we go along. There's a Ferrari round in the background. That's Sui Ross who's gone round on the exit of that corner, and Ghost and Finley still fighting along. Yellow flag still going along, but they've gone away, and now Ghost and Finley still going at it as well. Goes toward the inside of the McLaren. MX is fighting with 2 other cars behind them as well. Action. The Alfa Romeo's getting really involved. Elbows out for them as Finley and Red Flame Joe, Yaram, MX all squabbling for position as we go. It is an action-packed start. MCL was off the track as well. He's fighting with RJ. Contact between the two. Nothing too major though. Could be a little report into the stewards perhaps. Yaram though making waves in the Mercedes on the soft tyre, really cutting his way through the field at the moment, and the 2 Haas cars looking to do battle. No, that's a Haas and an Alpha Tauri trying to go side by side. That's Speed, and that's Barry Chuckle there. There's the other Ferrari of Rick round at the final corner. So easy to do there as we go along. And it's still Speed and Barry Chuckle. They're fighting with MX here as well into the first corner. There's so much action going on along the track as well. RTG Chuckle though gets ahead of Speed Alcoholic. MX keeps them both behind for the time being as well. Scarenzi and Lifeboat cut away from the rest of the grid though. Yaram and Red Flame Joe going side by side. Yaram with that superior grip on the start gets his way up into P5 ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Gosh, I need a moment. That's RJ Blair now round as well. Oh, commiserations for RJ. And the Ferraris have had a torrid time of it on this opening lap. Rick, huge mistake from him. Awful job. Ghost and Finley, meanwhile, close together. They were fighting on that opening lap. Finley's just seen off the 6-time sprint champion. But Ghost is a resilient chap. He'll be patient, he'll wait, he'll know his moment. This is one true racer right here, it's Ghost. If there's any man out on track who knows how to win a race, it is this man. Car number 72. I wish he could sing just as highly of me in Tier 2 as I do of him here now in Tier 1. Unfortunately, I have only myself to blame for my mistakes. But one of these days you'll see a Mercedes like this one here. Back fighting toward the front in Tier 2, but I digress. This is Tier 1, that's what we're talking about. And Yaram closing up on Ghost, who's lost a hell of a lot of time on Finley. What's happened there? Maybe a mistake, maybe those medium tyres finally warming up there as well. Those hards, clearly a tyre choice that's not yielding great results as far as the softer compounds of tyres go, but let's see as we continue on the race. Everybody seems to think that hard's the way to go for the start of this race, and I have to agree. I think get them out of the way soon, because if there's a safety car, it's mediums or softs all the way to the end, and you're going to have a much better time of it. Let's see. That's RJ round again in the S section of Sector 1. Not a great go of it. Here comes Finley though. Going to dispatch a Scarenzi very quickly. It's going to be back off the Lifeboat for Finley in that McLaren. Gets rid of the Aston Martin, although he's going to stay with him. Meanwhile, Lapis and Patterson going wheel to wheel in towards this tight corner. They're still side by side as they come through this twistier section. Long right hand corner. The Mercedes sticks it out though toward the inside. Little bit of contact between them. It's what this track invites. It's such a twisty section through here. And Lupper still emerges side by side, and they're still making contact. Lots of wheel banging. The Mercedes through. ET8 Chris in the Red Bull gets past Lupis, the Finnish driver, as well as they go along. And we have a virtual safety car. What's that for? Who's round? Who's lost their wing? Trying to look at some of these cars here. Who's binned it? Who has binned it? It must be someone toward... It's Yaron. No, or is he in the pits? Let's see. No, he's in the pits, straight onto the hards. Hards possibly to the end for Yaron, but that'll be a long, long stint, actually. That'll work out to around 25 laps. Which around this track sounds like torture. But Finley's firmly got Lifebout in his sights. Won't be letting that Dutchman go anywhere. This is what we could see in 2024, this year's season of Formula 1. McLaren versus Red Bull, maybe Mercedes and Ferrari could be back up there too. I've got a good feeling about this season, not going to lie. Famous last words though. As Red Bull have completely pulled a blinder on everyone, I think. But we'll see. Virtual safety car, DRS enabled. We're back under green flag conditions then. And we are back underway and racing. Anybody got themselves a cheeky little jump as they go. Let's see, there's some squabbling down towards the back of the pack as Sweet Ross gets a bit shaky. A little bit of a lock-up, sees him go into S. Patterson. Nothing too harmful there, though. They're still able to battle, and this is the good side-by-side action that I know we can see at a circuit like this. You can go side-by-side at any circuit in Formula 1, except for maybe Miami. Not Miami, we're at Miami, for Monaco perhaps, but the majority of tracks there is side-by-side action to be had as the two Alpha Tauris are going to show us in towards this final three corners. Which one emerges on top? It looks like Speed, but he's darted into the pits nice and early. Has he got damage? Has he got damage on that Alpha Tauri? He slows it down, gets it into the pits. Let's see. Another virtual safety car. There's a Mercedes round. That's Patterson. There's a Williams out of the session. As well, we have ring change for Speed. Patterson, doesn't look like he's got a wing on that car at all. Mania with wing damage as well. Yeah, not surprised. Many drivers taking a new front wing after incidents. But Finley has found his way ahead of Lifebout while we weren't looking. This man very much improved over the last few seasons. Ever since he joined XE Sports, what a great improvement from him. A very, very promising talent here in APPF1. He's been doing absolute bits on the veterans of Lifebout and Ghost and everybody out there as well. Deserves a championship, and this could be a turning point really for him in his season, especially when it comes to that Constructors title. But let's see, ET8 Chris is making steady progress. He's in P10 right now. Been a main benefactor of here. Is it on reduced safety car? Yes it is. The safety car is on reduced. Although with a circuit like Miami, I'm not surprised that we're getting a lot of VSCs essentially as we go through. But somebody's sleeping on the start. Was ET8 Chris. Sweet Ross got straight through, but he's gone very deep in towards turn number 16. Oh no, that's 17 even, and he's into the pits now. It's the Ferrari anyway, and ET8 Chris promoted back up, who's racing on controller for the time being. The Ferrari and the Williams then. Yeah, but it caps at 5 then though. Maybe? Honestly don't know. I do not know. I am unsure of how many times the safety car can come out. You'll be surprised with the F1 Codemasters games, honestly. Yeah, not sure. Neither am I. Neither am I. But in the meantime, Paul Chuckle is making progress. He's moved up ahead of MCL. He's going to be chasing after his brother Barry up ahead of him. Not having a bad debut, the two Haas cars here. Oh, of course. They're making steady progress in that midfield. And there might even be a train about to form of cars here. From Finley down through Lifebout, Scarenzi, Ghost, Red Flame, MX, RTG Chuckle and RTG Chuck as well, if they can get themselves on board. It's going to be interesting stuff, especially as those mediums start to slip away from that McLaren. Not too many battles on the track though, this being probably the closest. Although Paul and MCL here, they're very close together as well. A squabble for P8. Let's see, I can look it up while we've got a moment. I'll keep an eye on our leaders. There definitely is some sort of cap, maybe. I don't know, but Lifebout's on the attack, though. He's closing into the back of that McLaren. Not able to make any moves, and Scorenzi's sitting in the background as well. The more these battle, he's going to invite the others into the fray as well. I don't know. I can't be looking this up midstream. This is why I need a co-commentator. Maybe you can look it up, Ellie, in the chat, and then let me know. That would be helpful, and then we can clarify that. But Patterson retires from the session in the pit lane, then he's had enough as the Mercedes driver, and I don't blame him at this circuit. It is an awful track to drive as Lifebout down the inside. It draws alongside his main rival in this championship. Comes out ahead through the next couple of corners and begins the next lap. Here's the new leader of this race. The lead has changed hands once again. Scorenzi looking very quick around this circuit, although he's used a lot of the ERS already. Yaram up ahead of ET8 Chris, who's starting to fall backwards a little bit now in this race after making steady progress. Somebody's round. It was Barry Chuckle. He's had a moment at the first corner, but he's caught the car. He's back on the circuit and going again. Very easy to do. It's such a tricky track, this Miami circuit. I do not blame anybody for making mistakes out there. Let's see the battle for the lead of the race. Lifebout, Finley, Scorenzi in the Aston Martin. These three all very close together. Finley not using the DRS here. He doesn't want to make the pass in towards this corner. That is turn 11. I was right. As we go through there, he's holding back. He's waiting, perhaps for an opportunity in towards turn number 17. Let's see, he needs a good exit. Looks like the Aston Martin gets a slightly better one, although the straight line speed on that McLaren says otherwise. Let's see. He's not able to really make any benefit coming down the straight. He wasn't close enough, didn't get a good enough exit. Lopez, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is a track limits violation right there. But very close again is Finley, but he's going to run out of straight down in towards turn number 1. No move going to be made here for the lead of this race. It's just going to be about staying with Lifebout and just putting that pressure on him. But those mediums are going to start feeling a little bit weary now, a little bit worse for wear as Lupper round at turn 12. Missing his front right end plate as well, struggling at this Miami circuit. I wonder if he's sticking to no line. I'd imagine he's not. Although if he is, then fair play to him for coming on to put the practice in all fairness, because it is not an easy track to drive with the line, let alone without. So fair play. I see the three of them down in towards turn 11. No moves made for any of them there. Nobody quite bold enough to send it to the inside. Our closest fight on the track, and it's for the lead. It's just what you like to see. Better than real Formula 1 is what I say as we go through. Scorenzi really late with the gear change there. Really revving that gearbox. Finley closing. You can see the closing speed. Will he go for a move here? Oh, he backed out of it just before it got too late for him. Is he going to try to sneak around the outside? He makes a little bit of contact with the rear of the Red Bull as they come in towards 18 and 19. This could invite Scorenzi in for a move now as well. It's going to close him in, but the DRS is going to help out the McLaren as well. It could be free wide as they go through. No, the McLaren just going to try and make life difficult for Lifeboat in the Red Bull. Scorenzi sitting at the back of this fight. He'll be licking his lips thinking, I've got an opportunity to lead this race here. He's just sitting in the background waiting as they go through these three, racing a very good race right now. It's so exciting toward the front. MCL's closing in on his target of Yarum, and Red Flame Joe meanwhile closing in on his target of Barry Chuckle in the Haas. Red Flame Joe, here he is. Oh, very deep for the Haas. That's going to invite a move, perhaps. Speaking of, Finley's on the attack again. Goes around the outside of Lifeboat. Had the speed to get the job done on that occasion. In towards the lead of the race he goes now. How about Red Flame Joe? Let's see. Is he going to go for the move? He is down the inside. Very little ERS left in the tank of that Haas. Is he going to try and go underneath? Is he going to pull the to me to you move in that Haas car? Not quite. He sticks behind Red Flame Joe, who's up into P6. I was waiting to get that one in there. Waiting, and there's your opportunity right now. Speaking of opportunities, Lifebout looking, he's sniffing. Yellow flag in sector 1. That's Lupis and Williams. He's round at 1, 2, 3. That long-ish right-hander. Very easy to lose the rear end of the car there in the traction zone. Meanwhile, Barry Chuckle getting very close to the back of Red Flame Joe, not able to make a move on that occasion. Let's see. MCL's made a mistake. And somebody's round Finley! Finley's round at the first corner! Did he ever come in together with Lifebout? Let me see. Let me try and look on the timing board. See if I can investigate what just happened. I missed it just about. They weren't really close. I think he's just dropped it on his own. Oh, Finley. Feeling the pressure, feeling the wear on those medium tyres on the 11th lap of this race. He's down in P4. That puts Ghost up onto the podium now. And Finley, well, he's got to try and rethink his whole strategy here now. What does he do? Hold station, hope an undercut's going to see him back into the race. Who knows? But Scorenzi now, Lifebout is fair game. It's Lifebout and Scorenzi who are going to be fighting one another, and if they fight too much, Ghost is waiting to pick up the pieces in the background. Finley's not too far behind. He's just kept them in sight as Speed Alcoholic and ET8 Chris swap places. Speed Alcoholic into P12, ET8 dropping down a torrid time here. Can't find it, to be honest. There you go. I appreciate you looking, but nobody knows then. I don't even know if it does cap. I mean, obviously there'll be a cap on it depending on the amount of laps. Like, there won't be a safety car on lap, like, what, 27, as Lupis has DNF from this race. He's had enough of Miami. Again, I do not blame him. It is a terrible track. Let's see, though, the helicopter shot showing Scorenzi. Looks like he's a lot more put together than Lifebout right now. Red Flame Joe fending off Barry Chuckle in the meantime. But let's see, chasing down is the Aston Martin. Let's see who's more confident through this long right-hander. I think Lifebout just a little bit more put together. Had a little bit of a tighter line than the Aston Martin, who took a little bit more room on the track. Look, a lot tighter, a lot less of a loose line, really. Much wider line is what I was looking for, and he's going to go for the move now around the outside. Lifebout opens that DRS up, and the Aston Martin's going to take the lead of this race. Scorenzi now in P1 of this race ahead of Lifebout. Lifebout will have a chance to come back at him in towards turn number 17 as we go along, but we have an Aston Martin in the lead. We have had 3 leaders in this race so far. Yaram, meanwhile, gets ahead of Paul Chuckle for P8 in the Mercedes, but this is the battle we're keeping our eyes on. Ghost is steadily making progress in towards them. Let's see, is Lifebout going to be close enough to make a move? The closing speed on the Red Bull, not quite enough. He'll focus on his exit in these final 3 corners here. Locks up a little bit though. Scorenzi a little bit of a lock up as well, but gets a better exit, it seems. Lifebout struggling a little bit on the exit of those corners, and Scorenzi is pushing ahead, and he'll try and open up that gap if he can. But all I could find was people saying never seen it more than 5 times, and it does say it caps at 2 to 3 at a 25% race. Okay, so there may be around 5, as this is a 50% race, but I don't know. It's a strange one. I don't race enough, admittedly, and there goes Speed Alcoholic on Rick. Rick losing a place to the South African driver. It's nice to see him on the grid again. He does tend to suffer with having to turn off the power out there in South Africa. I actually work with somebody from South Africa, and I asked them about it, and yeah, there's a lot of I think most of the country has to have their power off. They just, designated hours, switch it off. It's crazy. How the other half live, though, eh? Very interesting stuff. Meanwhile, Scarenzi, Lifebout, close together. Scarenzi managing this gap well. Lifebout maybe feeling the pressure, perhaps. A little bit of a mistake there on the exit of turn number 16, I should say, as Rick and Speed once again trading places. As they go, Lifebout closing in. He's not going to be close enough, though, on this occasion. And all really Scarenzi's got to do is keep it calm, manage the gap, and it's job done. ET8 Chris, 3-second time penalty. There's a yellow flag. Who's that round? ET8 Chris, speaking of, he's round at that clumsy little chicane there. And lost out again. He must be having an awful time on controller. This circuit is not easy at all, especially not on controller. And Lifebout losing out. Hello Dan, hello Tier, how you doing? Found a 107-page FIA rulebook online, but I'm not going through it. As for the game, I'm finding 6 at 100% race a lot, but if it's virtual safety car, then it counts as 2. Interesting. Huh. I don't know then. I'm not sure how it works. I mean, personally, I don't think it should be Oh, no, probably it should be. I don't know. This is all on a random Reddit forum. So take that with a pinch of salt, folks. I don't think anybody's quite sure, in all honesty. You know who would be sure? Codemasters. Although, then again, this is Codemasters. Just saying. Meanwhile, Rick, Speed Alcoholic, there's an AlphaTauri that's gone round that ghosted through Rick there. That's MCL, and Rick gets ahead of the other AlphaTauri as well. That's probably some sort of rule break there, as it would have been yellow flag conditions. But what are you going to do when you're approaching the corner? Lifebout, meanwhile, he's hunting down Scarenzi. He's managed to close that gap up a little bit. Meanwhile, Barry Chuckle fighting with Red Flame Joe, the elite championship leader at the moment, and he's peeling into the pit lane. Here's Red Flame Joe, then Finley's in the pits as well. The medium runner's going to be coming in then. Although Red Flame Joe on the hard's coming in too. He'll go on to the mediums to the end of the race, actually. And that'll be his strategy done, unless a safety car comes to put a rain on his parade. Let's see, Finley looks like he's going to come out just ahead of Speed Alcoholic in the AlphaTauri, I should say, and back out into the race on hards. He's got some clear air, which is nice. He won't hope that Speed leaves him alone. Meanwhile, Lifebout hunting down Scarenzi still in that AlphaTauri, Ghost in a bit of no man's land, really. He can see the pair of them ahead of him, just about, when they're on a straight at least, but nowhere near closing distance. He needs him to start fighting, really. That's what he needs. But you see there's Ghost. That little dot in the distance. Let's see, Lifebout. Has he got the closing speed? He's looking, isn't he? He's just peeling out of that slipstream as to not make any moves, just to see his breaking point there as well. Doesn't go for it. Scarenzi doing a great job so far to manage this gap, keep Lifebout behind. But is that all part of Lifebout's strategy? Does he want to stay behind? Ghost in. Going to go for that undercut on the pair of them ahead. How good is it going to be for him? We'll find out. Where is Finley in the meantime? Here he is. Finley coming round turn 17 right now, then through 18. Let's see where he's going to come out. He'll come out ahead of his teammate by the look of things. Will he come out ahead of Ghost? He looks like he's going to. Yes, there, he's passed. Ghost rejoining the circuit now. It's going to be close, actually, between the two as they go through, and it's Ghost just ahead of Finley, but they're going to be racing on the exit. Finley would have had a chance to warm up those tyres, but those mediums, once they're warmed up, they're going to have much better grip then the hard compound tyres, and Finley's going to have a bit of an uphill battle here to get past Ghost in this stage of the race. The best thing they can do is not fight each other, work together, and maybe see if they can try and jump the leading pair of Scorenzi and Lifebout. Ghost close to the back of Paul Chuckle there as well in the Haas, who's been chasing down Yaram, but the gap is 2.9 seconds between himself and the Mercedes car. So a big ask. No ERS practically in that Haas. He's spent it all in one solid go, as has his teammate as well. And not the best thing to do. You want to save your ERS. You want to be conservative with your ERS for when you really need it. And it's going to show. There's going to be such a lack of pace in that Haas as they go down the main straight here. Finley's got to be careful, though. He's going to try and go to the inside of Ghost, though. Has a little bit of look. Clears the Haas car, though. They both get ahead of the Haas, but Finley unable to capitalise and make it free wide down that back straight there. Ghost a little bit wobbly on the exit. Both Scorenzi and Lifebout exiting the pit lane now. Ghost and Finley are coming down towards the straight. I don't think they're going to come out ahead of the leaders there, but Finley and Ghost, they could be close. They're going to be drawn right into this fight, so the undercut almost worked, but they found themselves now in the fight. They've got Yaram, who's currently leading the race only for the time being, and Scorenzi just zips past him as Yaram goes off the circuit after a little bit of a mistake from the Mercedes driver, who has been on these hard tyres for a good few laps now. He came in at lap 4 at that first virtual safety car, and it's kind of getting in the way here of Ghost as well. It's going to be free wide as they go down towards turn 11, as Finley's trying to find a way through as well. Ghost with the most DRS of the three of them, though, as they go down towards turn 11. The McLaren tries to go around the outside of the Mercedes. They're still side by side, and it's the advantage to Finley as they go through. Mercedes has to back out, and Finley through, and we have got ourselves a 5-car fight for the lead. Yaram kind of in it, but kind of on a back foot with those 13-lap-old hards. But 5 cars squabbling for the lead now. This race has just got incredibly exciting. Finley closing in. Let's see. Finley, very little ERS on board. Ghost not so much either. Lifebout about half battery. Scorenzi about half battery as well. Yaram very little ERS to boot too. If you don't know where I'm looking, it's on their dashboard. There, on their multifunctional display. And Scorenzi's round at the first corner. So easily done. It's what Finley likely done a few laps ago, and he's round and he's out of the lead now, and he's out of DRS range too. Ghost is up there though in P2. He's chasing after Lifebout, and then side by side for this long left-hander. Ghost down the inside into the lead of the race. We have a new race leader of Ghost. 4 leaders of this race have been leading these cars around now. Ghost into the lead. Lifebout is going to be chasing after him as best he can. He's going to go around the outside. They're going to draw side by side once again. Down this main straight they go in towards turn 11. An easy pass for Lifebout with all that battery. And Finley follows him through and gets the job done on the Alfa Romeo. He's not letting that Red Bull out of his sights at all, and it is game on again between the two championship rivals, with Ghost in the fight. Scorenzi's back in this too. The squabbling between these three has brought him straight back into this fight, so it's not over yet for the Aston Martin. Exciting stuff. Let's see Finley. Time penalty. When did he pick that up? What's he got? Track limits? The fastest lap currently belongs to Rick. There you go. I didn't want that information, but I've got it. 3 seconds for Finley, ETA Chris, Speed Alcoholic, MCL, and 5 for Mania for speeding in the pit lane. Or maybe causing a collision. Who knows? It could be any of those two, really, couldn't it? Yaram into the pits. Medium tyres to the end of the race. Went hard, soft, hard, medium. Probably would have been better to go soft, medium, Yaram, but what do I know? This puts a dampener on Finley's race. It puts him on the back foot. He will lose out on this podium because of a time penalty, because of a slight mistake. And you might say, Sumo, this is a street track. It should be difficult to pick up time penalties. That is where you're wrong. ladies and gentlemen. A circuit like this, especially when you've got a clumsy little chicane like we're about to go through, it's very easy to pick up a time penalty. And Finley has proven that. As for his speed, MCO and ET8 Chris, Mania's time penalty is slightly different, but I digress. Easy to pick up time penalties when you're being slightly complacent as we go through. Meanwhile, Paul Chuckle on the back of Yaram here. This is a fight in the midfield for P9, but we're focused on this. Laser focused on the top 4 cars. Renzi a lock up there as well. He's in a familiar position. He's back at the back of a DRS train of cars, although this time he's got 3 cars instead of 2 ahead of him. And they're going to play this smart, I'd imagine, on lap 20 of 29, into the closing stages of this race now. Who has got it in them? Everybody who finishes now, by the way, will score points. We have points all the way down to P15 in APPF1. So there are points on offer for everybody right now. Yaram fending off Paul Chuckle in the meantime. His brother Barry Chuckle in a little bit of no man's land, looking to chase after MX if he can. That medium hard strategy, will it pay off for the McLarens? Let's see, Red Flame Joe definitely in no man's land there. He's well off the top 4. And then he's got a decent cushion to MX. Let's see, Barry Chuckle not quite closing in. That gap's sort of stagnating around 1.6, 1.5. It's actually opening up, in fact. Scorenzi though. Let's see, DRS activated on the back of the Aston Martin. He's saving battery. He's going for it. He's going to look to the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Ghost breaks that a little bit later though to see him off, but the inside goes to Scorenzi. They emerge from the corner side by side still, but it looks like the Aston Martin's going to have the ability to go around. They're still side by side approaching turn 1, but the Aston Martin just ekes out ahead of Ghost, and into P number 4 he goes. He was able to gain a lot of ERS. Lifebound Finley, practically nothing left in the tank. They've really been draining and draining that battery as they go through to try and keep each other at bay. But then been unable to break the toe. Lifebound trying. He's teetering on the edge of that second mark. Speed's out of the race. He's out of the race in the pit lane though. So no safety car. Finley's staying as close as he can. Trying to make it up. That's that yellow flag, but it's in sector 1. It's fine. Speed's out of the race. A huge shame for him. Is it another power outage for Speed? A little bit of inside information. What's his bumper car, says Leon. Not happy with how his race ended. RJ got rear wing damage. And he was out of the right. Oh no, that feels RJ. That was me in Bahrain. Don't worry about it. As Finley down the inside closes in on Lifebout, able to get the move done with the DRS, and very little ERS to boot as well between all of these cars. But they're back more or less as they were. Finley, Lifebout, Scorenzi all chasing one another. This goes any way, but right now all Finley can hope for at best is P4. With Lifebout, Scorenzi and Ghost, currently your podium when you take into account the time penalty. Fantastic racing. Looks like Barry Chuckle in the meantime's caught up to MX. He's got a decent amount of battery left to use. Barry Chuckle not so much battery left to use. Rick's got ahead of Paul Chuckle here in the meantime. Those three Ross, 3-second time penalty for the reserve driver in the Ferrari. Yar and Rick. A slight rivalry reignited from the F2 Cup. Meanwhile, these three all very close. Ghost sitting in the background, waiting to pick up the pieces of any carnage that may or may not happen in the next few laps. Let us see as we head down the back straight now. Lifeboat, has he got the closing speed? He's not got the 2 cars behind him to worry about. He does have the closing speed. Down the inside he goes. Is Scarenzi going to follow them through? He thinks about it for a moment. Has to make a snap decision though. Like, man, I can't speak. Finley, slight mistake through the corner. A lock-up, almost saw him go spinning. Scarenzi lucky to avoid him as well, but still keeps P2. But that time penalty still hampering his performance, hampering his ability to do anything more than be a nuisance in this fight for the lead. And Scarenzi and Ghost will be thinking, get out of the way, Finley. You're not in this right now. Although, if he can make these drivers make some mistakes and get themselves 3-second time penalties, then it's race on. And Finley kind of slowing them down. That gap's opening up between himself and Lifebout. He's losing DRS here as well. He's outside of a second, but the DRS from the previous activation zone still applies. Stays within it for now. There's very little battery on it, and Ghost to be seeing those flashing red lights, as will Scarenzi. And they'll be thinking, oh, I've got a chance here. Let's see, but is it DRS for Finley, or is it no dice? No DRS. This could be a vulnerable McLaren as they go down towards this corner. Here comes Scarenzi with the closing speed. The DRS open. Down the inside he goes, side by side between the two of them. Will Finley let this go? I think he might have to. As down the inside goes Scarenzi up into P2 once more. And gonna try and chase after Lifebout best he can. Finley left for dust and in the sights of Ghost now. That flashing red light, a very tempting target for the British driver. Will they be able to catch Lifebout though? He's opened up that gap to 1.2. But Scarenzi, he's got such pace in this first sector. He's really confident through here. He's opening up that, he's closing that gap to Lifebout, and Lifebout got very little ERS. Honestly, I'd be winning if I could attend, says Lawrence Truitt. As if that's the Lawrence I think it is. If it's not the Lawrence I think it is, then apologies. As Finley is defending from Ghost, who's looking to go around the outside of the McLaren, then to the inside for turn 12 as he goes through. He's going to barge his way through, and it's job done for Ghost. That was some very smart racing to go on the outside, then on the inside on the attack. Use the grip of the medium tyres to good effect. What's a Lawrence? Oh yeah, I know it's you. Look, I recognise that face in the picture there. Well, look, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Tuesday, Lawrence. I'm not going to lie. I don't like this track. I hate it. I think it is probably the worst track on the Formula 1 calendar right now. Even worse than Monaco. Like, I'd rather race Monaco than this circuit, in all honesty. Meanwhile, there's a big tussle going on back here for P5. MX is under threat from Barry Chuckle and Red Flame Joe here. They're all over the back of him. We can hate it together, Sumo. Yes, we certainly can. Red Flame Joe's round in the other Alfa Romeo. Oh no! Was he tagged or was it a spin all on his own? A huge shame. He's way down the order. It looks like he might have damage too. He's peeling into the pit lane. Barry Chuckle, though, putting the pressure on MX in the McLaren. Meanwhile, Paul Chuckle also going after the Ferrari of Rick. Really bringing it to the veterans of APPF1 this evening. The two Chuckle brothers in those Haas cars. The softs to the end for our Red Flame Joe. Can he get the fastest lap? Let's see. Yeah, it's an awful circuit. I'll do my very best. I'll put my practice in. I'll give it a go. All I've got to do is keep it out of the wall and keep it in a straight line, and hopefully I can do something with it. But, yeah, terrible track. Nobody's favourite, I don't think. Anybody says Miami's their favourite, then they're lying. They're lying. Although I bet it's someone awkward's favourite. I bet it's like LB's favourite, you know? If you know, you know. I love that. I love that saying at the moment. I don't know why. Let's see. Barry Chuckle on the hunt. Doesn't use his DRS though, perhaps didn't get it. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to go on the attack here on MX. He's waiting. He's biding his time, is the Chuckle brother. Is he going to go for the move in towards turn number 1? He recognises the difference between the tyre here. Not going to go for it though on this occasion. Happy to sit behind, suss out his opponent. And look who's creeping back into DRS range. Scorenzi on lap 26. Looking to reignite this fight for the lead just one more time. Can he do it? Can he close in? Somebody's round. That's ET8 Chris in the other Red Bull. Doesn't look like he's got damage. He's just round. A torrid time for ET8. At least he'll score points. He thinks at least as he goes through. Meanwhile, Lifebat's still able to open up that gap. Keep it going. That won't help him though. A big mistake through there. Losing the rear end. Gets a bit squirrely as they move along. Ghost a good chance of a podium this evening. When I put this prediction in on the APPF1 podcast, which still hasn't come out yet, sadly, Ghost just hasn't had time to upload it as ET8 Christie's round. I did say Ghost was in for a podium this race, a P3 specifically, and look where he is. He's P3, just as predicted. Will it be? Don't make it P2 though, Ghost. Otherwise, I can't claim that I was correct about your podium. Let's see. Scorenzi and Ghost fighting along. Rick and Paul Chuckle not able to go. Barry Chuckle still on the hunt of MX. Let's go Mania. Yeah, he's still in the race. He's in P13. He'll score some points. Will the reserve driver from Tier 2. And it's Barry Chuckle even into P5 up ahead of MX. A decent move. Ghost on the move as well into P2 ahead of Scorenzi. I think he sees a chance perhaps to go after the win here at Miami. Chase after Lifebat. This could be a very, very exciting final 2 laps of the race as we close down this third to last lap. Finley's still there too. But into the DRS range is Ghost. He's got an incredible exit over Lifebat there as well. Is he going to go for it? Get himself into the lead. He is sniffing a win here. He knows. I told you. If there's anybody on this grid who knows how to win races, it is Ghost. And he is in there in P2. Prime position. Lifebat will be sweating there as well. In the cockpit of that Red Bull. There's not much battery between the 4 of them in this fight. But Finley's not really in this. With that time penalty that he's had for at least half of this race, I'd have said, or at least from once it's concluded. Meanwhile, Yaram is going toe to toe with Barry Chuckle here in the Haas, and it's Yaram, MX, Barry Chuckle all fighting each other for P5. We've got some great battles going on the track as we go along. Miami may be an awful circuit, but there's been so much opportunity for great racing. We have got probably 1.5 laps left of this race. Ghost hunting down Lifebout. When will he go on the attack? Will he press it here? Don't deny us a grandstand finish. I won't buy a curse in it, but let us see. It looks like it's going to be Ghost is all over this. If he gets this win here this evening, he will be absolutely ecstatic. This Ghost will win on the last lap. We'll wait for the last lap. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Lawrence. If I know Ghost, he'll be racing with his head and not his heart out there, whereas I'm the opposite. I race with my heart and end up losing out because of it. But anyway, Scorenzi, by the way, has put on an absolute performance this evening. And it's got to be commended with him. I've not seen a lot of Tier 1 this season. I've only seen round 2 and the round that we're currently at. But Scorenzi has really put on a great fight toward the front. It's got to be commended there. Let's see. You race without brakes. Yeah, something like that. I race with no traction as well, apparently. I race with rear wing damage. Although no traction works too for the situation that happened. Something's happened with the leaders. Or maybe it's just the lapped car of Sri Ross. I know you do. Everybody does, right? I'm everyone's favourite commentator. But this lap car could be a factor in this final stage of the race here. Lifeboat's going to get DRS because of the blue flag, the lap car, but Ghost is still going for it anyway. It's full speed all the way down to turn 11. Ghost looking to the inside. Lifeboat breaks later though to cover him off. Keep that going. Ghost is going to be looking to go for the move in towards turn number 17. It's going to be a grandstand finish for sure. Ghost all over the back. Scorenzi in there as well. Could it be free ride perhaps as they go down the longest straight on the circuit? Let us see. Oh my god, here we go, says Lawrence in the chat. And here we go indeed. Lifeboat on the better exit, but Ghost is going to have the DRS all the way down. Let's see as they go. Last corner showdown, says Lawrence. Closing. Lifeboat's parked it in the middle of the road. Ghost goes to the outside. He brakes as late as he dares. It's going to be side by side for the two of them as they go around the final corners. And it's Lifeboat who's going to eke out ahead. Ghost was unable to do anything. Lifeboat, great defending from the championship leader. And it is Lifeboat who wins the race. Ghost by a tenth of a second. Scorenzi makes up the podium. And Finley will be sitting in that cockpit thinking, what could have been? Let's see. Barry Chuckle unable to get the better of Yaram in the Mercedes. Crosses the line P5. MX lost out P5 to Yaram and Barry Chuckle there too. Rick and Paul Chuckle very close between those two. 0.06 of a second between them as they cross the line. Red Flame Joe, he'll be gutted about that spin. Spins across the line for good measure. Why not? Nice controlled one as well. Then there's MCL. Not a terrible race for the Tier 2 driver. P11. Not bad. Here's Chris. I do feel for him. Controller at Miami. Not great. Your highest placed team, by the way, in McLaren with a 4-7. That'll be good points for the McLarens. That'll bring them back into this, well, much closer to the Red Bulls. And equipment failure. 88 Chris meant he wasn't able to be up there with his teammate, but his teammate still won. That was intense. That was fantastic. The drivers are going to love watching that one back later on. It was a great race at Miami, despite how awful this circuit is. And I've said it probably 20 times already. Lifeboat doesn't have superpowers, but he did out there today to defend from Ghost and the Aston Martin of Scorenzi and Finley there as well for the most part, before we got that time penalty, and he raises up that trophy. I'm going to get these drivers in for a interview now, and we'll be ready to go in a moment. Let me see, I'm still navigating this stupid menu for PS5. Party, let's see. Doobie-doobie-doo. Doobie-doo. Is this the Tier 1 channel? No. Do I... I guess I'll have to invite them, maybe. Oh no, here we are, Tier 1 Season 11. I need to run you through this things as well. It is Lifeboat then, your winner this evening. Then there's Ghost in P2. Then we have Scorenzi P3. Then there's Finley in P4, what could have been for him. Then there's Yaram rounding off the top 5. Then there's Chuckle, MX, Rick, Chuck, Flame Joe rounding off the top 10. Then there's MCL, ETO, Chris Mania, Sweet Ross, Bleed Alcoholic, Lupper, Patterson, RJ, and Leon, who didn't finish the race. There you go, I did it. Woo! In time as well. Oh, sorry, I'm blue screening everybody, or black screening everyone. I don't know what colour it is now on PS5, not going to lie. I do have a party going, right? Yes, I do. No, don't I? I don't know anymore. There we go. I must have a party because I can hear somebody sneaking around in there. Hello. Let me summon the others as well if they wish to join. Oh my gosh. Aren't Discord open? Discord, stop. Oh, it's gone onto my other page. Oh, I know how to do this. I learned this yesterday. Fuck! Come here. Why is Discord being annoying? Alright, Discord has just killed itself on my PC. Incredible. Let me summon the others. We'll get on with interviews. Just waiting on Lifebout and Ghost if they're going to jump in. There's Ghost. Just need a Lifebout there as well. Hopefully I can get Discord back up and running on my PC. It's just not having it. I don't know what's going on. Can't get it back up. APPF1 only does intense. Yes, it does, Lawrence. Yes, it does. Where is Lifebout? Is he joining us? I'll give him another minute or so. Ah, Lifebout's got to go. Okay, there we go then. Well, we don't have our leader here, but we do have the man who ran him as close as possible, and that is Ghost, our P2 finisher this evening. That looked like an intense race out there, Ghost. Do you want to run us through it from your perspective?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways it was similar to last week in Bahrain, because I thought in the first stint, I'm going to have quite a lonely race here, because I was some 6 seconds ahead of MX behind me and then 4 seconds behind the top three. Scorenzi was crazy fast today, considering he did no practice. So yeah, he's my driver of the day from today. But no, I got back into it with an undercut, and then Finley getting spun helped as well. I hear that was Lifebout's doing, and I saw Lifebout spin Scorenzi as well. So I think a win is probably on the cards, which is very nice. I really wanted it on track though, and that backmarker giving him DRS on the last lap was so frustrating, because I really felt like I would have had it easily if it wasn't for that. Not easily, but you know, I wouldn't have had to defend into the hairpin. So yeah, but I did all I could, and it's the best Tier 1 race I've had for a long time, win or not. So I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, it looked intense out there in those final laps, and Miami's no easy track, but all of you in Tier 1 managed to make a fantastic race out of it. Lawrence and I both said, well, Lawrence in the chat, myself over the stream, said that we saw you sniffing that win on the back of Lifebout there, and you gave it everything. Just couldn't get the traction down for that last corner. He defended well, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he did. I think where I really didn't get it was at the exit of the previous corner, because he got a much better exit than me out of there. So I had to catch 4 tenths instead of 3, and that was the big difference. 1 more tenth and I would have had him. But yeah, I really did give it everything. I was silent for the last 6 laps or so. I could feel my heart in my chest. It was really distracting. But no, I'm really pleased with how I drove, and I think I made some really good moves as well. The one on Finley that I did, I was happy with that towards the end. So, and it was a crucial one as well. I knew I had to get him there. So yeah, and saving the ERS while following behind them in that last stint really paid off. Because if I had 10% less ERS for those last few laps, I probably would have come third. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. Considering this is a track where I don't usually run very well. It's my first league race on it on this game, I think, because I didn't have a setup for it. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased, and yeah, great race all around.
Yeah, it looked like a fun time out there. Goes to an intense race. I'm sure that will help you out going in towards Elite for Sunday. And I did say last Sunday that you'd be on the podium, and look where we are now. But well done today, Ghost, on P2 and a potential win once the stewards get involved. I'm one of them.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. And well done to Scorenzi as well and Finley and Lifebout. That was a brilliant four-way battle all race long. So, um, it takes it takes two to Dango, but today it took four to Foxtrot. So, good job, guys.
Right then, and we go to our P3 sitter, potential P2 as well after the stewards. Then Scorenzi, who I am going to give driver of the day from myself because I think he put on an absolute performance to fight in amongst the front all race long. But run us through the race from your perspective, if you would, please. Scorenzi, hello.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all
I
right.
was muted by accident. Yeah, no, so yeah, just to start off real fast, in quali I was kind of struggling on my first couple of laps that I did. I wasn't too sure where my pace was gonna have me end up like being position wise, and then final run, I managed to get something going, something decent. Made a couple little mistakes in the final couple corners, which cost me potentially getting P2. I don't know if I would have gotten pole, but race pace wise, I had no idea what to expect. Just like how Ghost mentioned in the tier one chat, I had mentioned that I unfortunately wasn't able to really put any time in for this week's race. So not only that, but also just the fact that I hadn't ran a league race around here, and this track isn't particularly one of my better tracks, I guess you can say, but. Yeah, I don't know. First stint, I had a really, really good launch off the line. I managed to stay with Finley and Lifebout, and from there, just kind of, stuck with them. Try to manage my ERS, which was going well. Um, I seen what had happened with Finley when he got like half spun or whatever, and I knew that Lifebout was gonna try to break away once that happened. And he almost did. He almost did. But I managed to just stick with him. And then from there, the pit stops happened, and Ghost had a really, really nasty undercut. It worked tremendously well for him. He managed to get right back into the mix of things. And then from there, yeah, it was just nonstop pressure from everyone behind when I was leading, or once I got past Yarham coming out of the pits. Um, and then from there, unfortunately, I got tapped from behind and I had like a half spin or whatever. Um, but didn't lose too much time. I did burn a little bit more ERS than I should have or needed to try to make sure that I stuck with those guys up front after that half spin, which in the end it did cost me a bit just because my ERS management towards the end was very poor. But all in all, very, very, very pleased with the race and surprised, honestly, with my race pace around here. So I guess there's that. And also massive congrats to the rest of the podium and also Finley as well. All three of those guys that I was battling with. Big props to them for some fun battles and clean racing for the most part.
Yeah, I can tell you that it was incredibly fun to watch on my end. So I'm sure you'll enjoy what you see when you go back to watch this evening's events as you go along. And that start really was what sort of propelled you into this fight, and you didn't let up at any time. You looked so quick out there, despite the lack of practice as well. And I'd imagine the same question could be applied to Ghost as well. But Finley was really sort of getting in your way once Lifeboat had got past him with that 3 second time penalty on those harder tyres as well. That must have been frustrating.
A little bit, just because I knew that Lifebout was gonna try to push or whatever, or Ghost, whoever was gonna be up ahead, and um, if I didn't try to clear Finley, it would kind of be GG's from there. Uh, but managed to get him, and yeah, it was very, very, very crucial.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic race to watch, and you put in a stellar performance. So well done on your P3, potential P2 after penalties as well, and of course driver of the day as well. It was a great performance from yourself, and I'm sure we could expect more of that from you for the next 5 races.
Thank you very much, and definitely looking forward to the next few races. And again, congrats to Ghost and potentially on the win as well. But yeah, thank you.
All right, well, my Discord has continued to have itself a time. I'm pretty sure it's Brazil next week for the second of 2 sprint rounds. Ghost has confirmed, thank you. So come and join us for Interlagos, of course. Sunday, of course, there will be another race here at Miami for the elite tier. Then on Tuesday, at the same time as tonight, there will be a race. Well, for tier 2, there will be also a race at Miami as well. So don't miss those ones. I hope you have all enjoyed. Thank you to everybody who chimed in on the live chat as well. It has been very fun chatting with you all. But for now, I have been Sumo, and I wish you all a very warm good night. Goodbye, guys.